Hey there guys, Neil here with an Android app review. So in this case, I'm going to show an easy way to access your apps at the swipe of a finger and various other features without having to clutter up your home screen with different apps and widgets and shortcuts and that sort of thing. So you can keep a clean home screen like you see here. So the app itself is called Edge Action, and what it does is allow you to access the things I mentioned simply by swiping your finger, much like you saw there. So once you launch the app, you'll have to do very initial things like turning it on, so the Edge service you see here, and then setting things like a full screen where you can adjust the area of the panel, pause the app in landscape or full screen app so it doesn't get in the way when you're watching videos or playing games or things like that and turning and hitting it by accident. It has a thing called showing persistent notifications. So if you do have a device that kills apps that are not supposed to be running or things that it's not supposed to be running, then enabling it will ensure that the app remains running at all times. From here, the next thing I recommend setting up, and by no means that it needs to be done in this order, is setting where the handle itself shows up. So you can do things like have it show up on the left or right of the screen. You can adjust how big or small the actual width of the handle is. So for me, about 115% is about right. It's not too small, it's not too big, and it's still detectable, but it all depends on the size of your device and how much you want to see the button. You can also set things like the height. So I have it at 100, so it's the width you see here or the height you see here, but you can go all the way up to 100% or sorry, 200% if you want it to be as big as possible. Or if you just want a little dot somewhere, then you can set it lower and to whatever preference you like. Um, from here, you can set the transparency. So if you want to blend a little bit with your wallpaper, you can set it at a lower setting. But if you don't care, you just want it to be as bright, as solid as possible, you can set it to 100%. For me, about 75% is right, so it blends a little bit with my wallpaper and it's not standing out as much as, or it's not really as distracting as it could be. The offset allows you to position where the handle shows up, so you can go as low as here from 500 pixels or as high as negative 500. So it depends on the size of your screen and where you want it to show up. For me, about 5 to negative 5 is about right. It allows me to have room on my screen to swipe when I'm, for example, in Google Play and I need to swipe over to open that menu, or I'm in Pocket Cast or other apps that require me to um, swipe from the side of the screen. So about 5 to negative 5 is a good area for me, but of course it depends on the size of your phone, how long your fingers are, and that sort of thing. So you can always set that to whatever you want. And of course, for me, it's a little bit hard to get it to the right position. So I pretty much leave this wherever I want. If I can't get it to 5, then it's usually just whatever. I'll leave it wherever I want, or wherever I last left it, and I'll try it again. But I try to keep it in the window of where I like it, just so I don't hit it by accident. So even for me, like at 10 px, it's good enough. So I'll leave it here and change it later. You can also change the color of the button. So if you use a slider, you can change it accordingly. So for me, because my wallpaper is a little orange, I want it to blend in. So I'll set it to that orange and leave it at that, and then um, adjust it later if I find that it's not quite blending in, or if it blends in too much, or I don't see it or anything like that. Then I can adjust it later. So now to the main feature of the app. So when you go to edit or manage, in the free version of the app, you get things like applications, calendar, file explorer, I think, and the calculator. If you purchase purchase the pro version, then you get additional features like the weather and voice recording and other various other panels. So this is by no means the order you can need to actually keep it in. So let's say you want to add a calculator and you want it after your apps. First thing you'll do is hit the checkbox, and if you hold down, you'll be able to drag the calculator all the way over, so you can have it first or second and have it set up there. There's no actual settings for the calculator, so nothing to worry about there. But once you set that up, you hit the checkbox. It'll say done. The app will restart itself. So now when you go into the overflow, now I have my applications and I have my calculator. So if I want to do 8 minus 5, it calculates if I want to do clear, or if I want to do 9 times 7, or and then divided by 2, then it pretty much works, and you have easy access to a calculator. Hitting the back button on your device will close it, so pretty nifty feature there. Um, and then it has features like a browser shortcuts if you want to add a shortcut to Facebook or Instagram or ESPN, all the above, or just various links you have. Then you can set that here. If there is a shortcut in, for example, Google Chrome that you, or in Chrome or Firefox or wherever, you just need to copy that link, and then you can hit add your page, select a title like ESPN, and then type in the link, hit save, and it'll show up. So you can do espn.com, or not XCOM, but just com, and hit save. So, and I guess you do need to hit the HTTP, so it's probably how the app handles it, so hit that. And so now ESPN shows up, you hit the checkbox, and now you have that, and then make sure you enable it, of course. So now when you open the panel, you can swipe over, and now ESPN. So when you do that, it'll load the ESPN website, and you'll be able to use that. So since I don't actually use it, I'm going to disable it, but having the calculator there is pretty handy, because sometimes I do need to calculate tip or get quick prices or stuff like that. Then you can do a world clock if you do travel a lot, want access to various panels. If you want to check up on your calendar events, you can add that panel. So overall, pretty full featured. And then so the final feature of the app is the ability to set a theme. So you have one of two options. You can do a solid color like that. So when you swipe over, it's just a solid color. You have your applications and the title. Nothing fancy there. It's a pure overlay, and then you can do a transparency. So if you adjust that down, you can see through the screen if you so desire. But in that case, for example, for me, I use Custom Live Wallpaper Maker. So when I swipe over, it overlays on top of that. So it's okay. But for example, applications now is sitting on top of the date, so it looks kind of funny. So what I do in this case is, you can also you have the ability in the themes to set image of the wallpaper. So I have a full blur going on, and I'll keep the transparency as the same, for example. But so now the app shows up, it looks a little bit weird. Even if I'm on the main screen and I swipe over, it's not going to really do much. So in my case, what I do is I'll go back into the app under themes. I'll keep the transparency at 100%. You can set the blur if you want as well. So in this case, it's a solid image. If you do blur all the way up to 40, it blurs the image a little bit. So that's also a pretty nifty option if you so desire. So definitely worth a shot. The app itself is actually super smooth. So as you can see, the animations, it transitions very well. I'm running a OnePlus 3T with 6 gigs of RAM, so that might also be doing it. But overall, I haven't really seen much battery usage or battery percentage going down excessively because of the app. But it is nice to be able to access apps that I use pretty regularly, like Pocket Cast, Feedly, YouTube, and my camera apps all in one screen. Doesn't take up space, and I have access. I still have that Google widget and home screen or app drawer access and all of that good stuff available to me. So that's Edge Action, available for free in the Google Play Store for basic features, so limited screens. The Pro version for, I believe it's $349 or $399, will unlock all the panels, so you can select whichever ones you want. And if you purchase the app within the first 24 hours of installing it, you get a 20% discount. So pretty good offer there if you like the app. So that's Edge Action, available for Android via Google Play. And a pretty nifty app at that, to access various features at the swipe of your hand. So that's all there is for this particular review. So if you want to get in touch with me, you can find me on, or you can contact me on Twitter at PatelN01. You can find this review and all prior reviews on YouTube at youtube.com/PatelN01. And of course, if you want to get this review earlier, get it in your podcast client of choice, be sure to support the show on Patreon at patreon.com/PatelN01 to unlock those various levels. And of course, the website is pateln01.com to get prior episodes, links, or related links, and all of that good stuff all in one place. But that's all there is for this particular review. Thanks for tuning in, and until next time.